Hi, everybody. Mark Hinderleiter here. I have a 30 plus year corporate background, uh, always at corporate headquarters, senior leadership roles. And now I am the founder and principal of a company called Third Way Inc. You see the logo up in the top right hand corner. So at Third Way Inc., we work with small and mid sized businesses to really help develop a people strategy for today's workforce that supports their business strategy so that they can attract talent, compete for talent, retain talent, engage talent that just gives them a competitive advantage, not just with people, but with their business. So today, I want to pose a question for our conversation. And the question is this. During this great resignation, great reshuffle, people call it different things. I call it the great retention, which I see as an opportunity. So during these times, what's your company's greatest asset unique to these times? So if you've got something in mind, put something in the chat. But here's kind of some of the things that I came up with. Certainly not all encompassing, but you know, most companies call people their greatest asset. Sometimes they are, sometimes it's just corporate speak. Strategy, a smart strategy, technology, agility is a big deal, isn't it now in today's workplace? Cash and cash flow is always an asset in any time. Location can be an asset. Superior products and services are always a great asset, and there are many others. What do you think? So here is what I am thinking these days, that today's greatest asset during these times is trust. So think about trust as an asset, as a company asset. So why would I think about that over technology or agility or brand? That wasn't up there, but brand is a healthy brand, a reputable brand is certainly a great asset. So why trust? So let me answer my question with a question or with maybe an exercise. So think about a GoPro. A GoPro is just a camera a wearable camera that you wear on a hat or on a shoulder or on a selfie stick, pointing the other way. It's just recording what you see. So imagine that you are wearing a GoPro and you're walking around this business that just has a low trust environment. And so, what's that GoPro seeing? What are you seeing? Well, I've worked in one of those environments a couple times, and some of the things that I saw, probably consistent with what you've seen, is the body language is really different, right? Uh, People just kind of feel downtrodden. Um, there's cooler talk, there's gossiping, there's backbiting, there's a lot of conflict. Uh, there's not much collaboration going on. People are here's what a friend of mine told me, who's working in a low trust culture. I said, "How are you surviving?" He said, "I keep my head down and my mouth shut." And this is a guy who I've worked with before who was always engaged, always went the extra mile, but that was a high trust environment. So, what are you seeing in a low trust environment? And then what's the impact of that low trust environment on people? Is innovation showing up in a high trust environment? No, nobody's taking a risk to try something new, keep their head down and their mouth shut. Um, does agility show up in a low trust environment where you can move fast? Well, no, because people resist uh, leadership in a low trust environment. So, a real impact on the business. I'll tell you what I've seen from a financial perspective in my career, low trust environments, I've been in two of them, had a direct impact on growth and profitability, meaning no growth and unprofitability. In fact, I've seen one of those companies go out of business, and another company is currently struggling tremendously because employees don't trust leadership, and the brand is suffering. Customers are not trusting that company's products and services. So just a devastating impact. So, turn the coin over. You're wearing that GoPro and you're walking around in a high trust environment. What are you seeing? Collaboration, positive body language, people actually smiling and engaging each other and maybe even having fun. They're productive, they're hustling, they're really contributing, they're going the extra mile. Meetings, aren't they just completely different? The meeting in the high trust company versus the meeting in the low trust company, there couldn't be a more stark difference than what you see happening in meetings. And kind of the same thing when I've been into high trust environments. There was a lot of pride. There was a lot of respect. There was a lot of longevity. People built careers in those high trust environments. And the other thing that I saw was a direct impact on profitability. Just like the low trust environment had an impact on profitability, the high trust environment, again, I've seen this twice in my career over long periods of time, was growth, profitability, pay increases, nice bonuses, and just sustained business performance, respect of the brand. I mean, just direct impact in that high trust environment. That was a lot of fun to be part of. So as you think about the two, low trust versus high trust, what are the kind of the practical advantages, competitive advantages that you would see in a high trust environment over a low trust environment? Attracting talent, retaining talent, big advantage when it comes to people. Agility, can you move faster in a high trust environment? Absolutely. What about the impact on the brand itself? As not only as an employer, but as a product or service provider. Brand is all about trust. Am I going to buy this company's products? Am I going to purchase this company's services? And the answer has a whole lot more to do with trust, in my experience, than it does with price. So trust has in fact, brand is all about reputation, and that is all about trust. So just innovation is much more likely to happen in a high trust environment because people are willing to try stuff. They're willing to step out and innovate. In a low trust environment, not a chance. So brand, people, innovation, agility, all those kind of things that have a direct impact on business performance. So, okay, maybe blinding flashes of the obvious. So how do we build trust in the workplace? Easier said than done. But to me, I call it the 4 C's. The first C is competence. Are we good at what we do? Right? If we're a software company, do we develop great software? If we're a service provider, do we deliver superior services? Are we good at what we do? If you knew me, I think you'd trust me as a person. But if you needed knee surgery, you don't want me doing that. I am not competent to do that. And competence matters. I have stayed at a Holiday Inn Express, but I'm still not competent to do knee surgery. So competence is critical. And the thing about competence is we have to keep developing it because technology is changing all the time. Our competition is chasing us in creating new service models. So competence is not, okay, we've achieved it and we're there. It's it's a game that we played as kids, King of the Hill, Queen of the Hill. Once you get there, you got to fight to stay there. So competence has to be developed and continuously developed. So that's one way that we build trust, is we're good at what we do. The second is character. It's, do people trust us as human beings? Do they trust me as a leader? Do they trust my character? Do I keep my commitments, my promises? Do I have my people's back? Do they know that I'm going to be there for them when they need me? There's a real big difference between people feeling like somebody's got their back or they're looking over their back. That's a really stark difference. And that's all about character in us as leaders and managers. So character is people just trust us as human beings. We say what we do. We keep our word. We keep our commitments. We have our people's back. We're interested in and committed to their success. That's character. And the other thing we do from a character point of view is we make mistakes. We're human. We own it, right? We don't throw people under the bus. We don't play the blame game. We own it. And people respect that. We all do. So character matters in terms of building trust. The next thing is connection. Just in business, the more we have just a human connection, the more we can work together, the more we trust each other, the more we anticipate each other's kind of actions, just because we just have that human connection. And that's kind of under assault right now, with the workplace changing from all in person to maybe mostly remote or some version of hybrid. And some folks are going back to the workplace, but if you're in a remote or a hybrid setting, how we create connection is different. So once again, kind of like competence, we've got to up our game in terms of creating human connections, because people are feeling really isolated working remotely. They may really enjoy and prefer working remotely, but they can still feel really isolated. Like, do I know what's going on? Is my boss thinking about me? Is my boss communicating? Is the company communicating? Do I have the opportunity to connect, and reach out to my manager? So that human connection's always been important. Now we kind of have to work maybe differently to create that human connection as the workplace is evolving. The last one is consistency. Have you ever, early in my career, I had a boss who was a good person. But whenever I thought about, okay, I want to bring this idea, or I want to bring up this topic, or I want to kind of own this mistake, or whatever, I needed to go see the boss or my manager. We don't use boss anymore. It was, is this the right day? Right? I got to pick the right day to go see that manager, because there was some inconsistency from day to day in terms of being up, in terms of being down, in terms of being open-minded and surly one day, open and friendly, so that kind of, inconsistency can create some distrust. Like, when do I bring this up? Where consistency, people know who we are. They know what to expect from us. We're human beings. We have good days and bad days, but mostly we're the same person that shows up, the same person with integrity, the same person with competence, the same person with human connection, and the same person that you can expect to deal with in a one-on-one meeting or in a group meeting or in my decision-making process. I can be really tough one day and really easy the next day. And so people don't know what to expect. So consistency builds trust. So, those are four things that we can do at the organizational level, at the department level, and as individual managers to build trust in our teams, our departments, and our companies. And I would argue, I am arguing, that trust is one of the greatest assets that any company can have. It's the difference between retaining people or not retaining people. It's the difference between our brand to our customers. It's the difference between getting stuff done or getting a lot of resistance. So trust is kind of what I'm arguing. To me, trust is the glue to just all human relationships, business relationships, personal relationships, my marriage, our relationships with our customers. Trust is the glue. And so I'll just leave you with this. Building trust is one of the 6 practices of a program that I've developed many years ago called the Diamond Quality Leadership Program that supports this great retention, and I think is more relevant than ever. So if that's something you want to hear more about, just connect with me on LinkedIn. What I'm going to do over the next 6 weeks is really talk about all of these 6 practices. Building trust is the first one. The second one is serve others, that old practice of servant leadership. The third is create clarity, everybody on the same page, pulling in the same direction. The fourth is working with purpose and passion. Today's workforce wants to really believe in the purpose that a company has. A lot of people, I've read recently that people are leaving Facebook because they don't believe in the purpose anymore. They just see it as an advertising machine. So people want to believe in our purpose, and that's what creates passion. The fifth one is fully engage people. That's one of the things we have to do as leaders is engage people so that they feel good about what they're doing, so that they feel like they're contributing. And that will cause them to they feel valued, so they will go the extra mile. And the last is act with courage. As leaders, we got to make the tough decisions. We got to have the tough conversations. That's best for the team and best for the company. So those are the 6 practices. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned as I cover the rest of them over the next 6 weeks. Feel free to reach out. I'd love to connect with you. Take care.